To mislead an entire army, British intelligence proposed a chilling plan. They would invent a man, then kill him. The year was 1943. The Allies planned to invade Sicily, but a formidable German army stood in their way. A direct assault would be a slaughter. They needed a deception so brilliant, it was almost unbelievable. In a London basement, a secret committee gathered. Their weapon of choice? A story. The plan was codenamed Operation Mincemeat. It required a messenger who could never talk, a ghost. Their first, most morbid task was to find a body. A man with no name, to give a new identity. This ghost would carry secrets in a briefcase chained to his wrist. Secrets designed to deceive Hitler himself. The entire invasion and the lives of thousands of soldiers rested on this one impossible lie. But how could they ensure the enemy would find the body? And more importantly, believe its story? Every single detail had to be perfect. One flaw, one inconsistency, and the mission would fail catastrophically. The architects of the plan, Ewan Montague and Charles Chumley, began to build their fictional man. They were not just spies. They were becoming authors of the greatest story never truly told. The stakes were clear. Success meant saving thousands of Allied lives. Failure meant sending them to their doom. They found their man. The body of Glyndwr Michael, a homeless man who had died in London. He was given a new name and a new life. He would become Captain, Acting Major, William Martin. To be believable, Major Martin needed a personality. He needed a past, hobbies, and even love. An MI5 clerk, Jean Leslie, provided a photograph of herself to play the part of his beloved fiancée, Pam. Love letters were written, full of inside jokes and tender moments, all carefully crafted to be read by the enemy. His pockets were filled with the mundane clutter of life. Keys, ticket stubs, a bill from his tailor. Each item was a breadcrumb, a piece of a puzzle designed to lead German intelligence to one conclusion. The centerpiece was the briefcase itself, containing official-looking documents detailing a planned invasion of Greece. The letters were signed by real, high-ranking Allied generals to enhance their authenticity. Major Martin was dressed in the full uniform of a Royal Marine. He was almost ready for his mission. But his death also had to be believable. The cause? Drowning, after his plane went down at sea. Pathologists were consulted to ensure the state of the body would match the fabricated story perfectly. The final piece was the delivery mechanism. A submarine, the HMS Seraph, was tasked with the secret deployment. The location was chosen with extreme care, off the coast of Huelva, Spain, a known hub of German agents. The ghost was built. The stage was set. Now, the great gamble was about to begin. On April 30th, 1943, the submarine surfaced in the dark. The crew prepared their silent passenger. They recited Psalm 39 over the body, a final farewell to the man who would save so many. Major Martin, with his briefcase of lies chained to his coat, was gently committed to the waves. Now, all they could do was wait. The most agonizing part of the operation had begun. Would a Spanish fisherman find him as planned? Or would the currents carry their secret away forever? Hours later, a local fisherman spotted the body floating in the water. The first step was a success. The Spanish authorities were notified. Crucially, they performed an autopsy, but it was cursory and inconclusive. They noted the cause of death was drowning, just as the British pathologists had predicted and planned for. News of the British officer reached the local German intelligence agent. The bait was in sight. The agent moved quickly to acquire the briefcase, convincing the Spanish to hand it over for examination. In London, cryptographers waited for any sign, any change in German radio chatter indicating the documents were read. The briefcase was carefully opened by German experts. They photographed every document before resealing the envelope. The British had planted a secret tell, a single eyelash placed inside one of the letters. When the briefcase was returned, the eyelash was gone. They knew. The documents had been read. The intelligence flew from Spain to Berlin, directly to the desks of the German High Command. The personal letters, the photograph, the tickets, they all helped sell the lie. They made Major Martin real. German analysts debated the intel. Was it genuine, or was it an elaborate British trick? The forged letter from a top general, complaining about being reassigned, was particularly convincing to them. It was a masterful touch of psychological warfare. It played on their own rivalries and suspicions. Finally, the documents reached Hitler's desk. He reviewed the evidence personally. The fate of the war hung in the balance. Convinced by the detail and authenticity of the find, Hitler declared the documents were genuine. He was completely fooled. He believed the Allies were planning to invade Greece and Sardinia. Orders were sent out immediately. Elite panzer divisions were moved from France to Greece to counter the threat. Other crucial defenses were stripped from Sicily and redirected, leaving the island critically vulnerable. In London, British codebreakers intercepted the German messages. They could not believe their luck. Prime Minister Winston Churchill was sent a simple, triumphant message. Mincemeat swallowed whole. The ghost they had created in a basement had successfully diverted the might of the German war machine. The stage was now perfectly set for Operation Husky, the real Allied invasion of Sicily. The deception had been so successful that the Allies could proceed with overwhelming confidence. The team in London had pulled off the impossible. But the true test was yet to come on the beaches. Allied troops prepared to land, unaware that their path had been cleared by a silent, unseen hero. The German defenders in Sicily, weakened and unprepared, were about to face the full force of the invasion. Even after the invasion began, Hitler was convinced it was a diversion, not the main attack. He refused to move his best troops back to Sicily for several critical days, sealing its fate. The power of a well-told story had paralyzed the judgment of one of history's most feared dictators. The architects of the plan had done more than forge documents. They had forged reality. Major Martin, the man who never was, had become one of the most effective spies in history. His story demonstrates the incredible impact of creative intelligence and audacious thinking in wartime. It was a gamble of the highest order, where every player performed their part to perfection. From the secretary who gave a photo to the submarine crew in the dark, all were essential. On July 9, 1943, Allied forces landed in Sicily. Resistance was lighter than anyone had dared to hope. The island was captured far more quickly and with far fewer casualties than projected. The plan had worked. The fall of Sicily led directly to the downfall of Mussolini, a massive turning point in the war. One man, who never existed, saved thousands of lives and altered the course of World War II. The full details of Operation Mincemeat remained top secret for decades after the war finally ended. The real identity of Major Martin, Glyndwr Michael, was only added to his gravestone in 1997. His epitaph honors him as the man who never was, a permanent tribute to his silent sacrifice. It's a powerful echo of how imagination can be the most effective weapon in the arsenal of history. Every artifact, every document, carries a story of ingenuity under the most immense pressure. The tale of Major Martin reminds us that the greatest victories are not always won on the battlefield. Sometimes they are won in the quiet rooms, where a story is brought to life. Join the chronicler again. Let us find the next great story hidden within the pages of the past.